Hello friends, let us discuss today another important topic of international law, that is recognition or international recognition. Now recognition is a huge topic and it is not possible to cover or discuss all the relevant points in a single session. In this session, we are only going to discuss 4 main points. Number 1, brief introduction. Number 2, definition. Number 3, essential elements of recognition. And number 4, the types of recognition. So, to begin with the introduction, what is recognition? Recognition is basically an act of formally acknowledging the international personality of a newly born state by the already existing states. Now, a statehood has 5 essential characteristics. Whenever our political community claims it to be a state, it should have 5 essential qualifications. Number 1, population. Number 2, a specific territory. Number 3, government. Number 4, sovereignty. And number 5, this international recognition. So, international recognition goes to the root of the constitution of our state. Until and unless a newly born state is recognized by other members of international community, it cannot become a full-fledged state. So, international recognition is that important. Moving on to the second point, that is definition. International recognition has been defined by many jurists. Here we are going to discuss 2 definitions. First is given by Professor L. Oppenheim. He said that in recognizing a state as a member of international community, the existing states declare that in their opinion the new state fulfills the conditions of statehood as required by international law. Second definition was given by Charles G. Fenwick. He said that through recognition, the members of international community formally acknowledge that the new state has acquired international personality. Now comes third point, the essential elements of recognition. According to Hans Kelsen, there are 4 essential elements of recognition. That means until and unless there are these 4 essential elements, the newly born state cannot be recognized by other states. So, what are those essential elements as per Hans Kelsen? Number 1, there has to be a politically organized community. Secondly, that politically organized community should have control over a definite territory. Number 3, this control over a definite territory should tend towards permanence. And number 4, the politically organized community thus constituted must be permanent or independent. These are the 4 essential elements of recognition. A newly born state, after having these 4 essential elements, it can go for international recognition. Now comes our 4th point, types or kinds of recognition. There are many types of recognition. Number 1, express or implied recognition. Number 2, collective recognition. Number 3, conditional recognition. And number 4, de facto and de jure recognition. So, first, what is express or implied recognition? Express recognition takes place when the recognizing state formally declares or notifies that it is going to recognize a newly born state. So, express recognition means it is expressly done by the recognizing state, either by official notification or by declaration. Implied recognition takes place when it has to be inferred or gathered from the activity of the recognizing state. Next comes collective recognition. Collective recognition means collectively by a number of states a newly born state is recognized. It is possible through a treaty. So, the signatories to the treaty, they are recognizing collectively a newly born state. This is called collective recognition. For example, the Treaty of London recognized Greece in 1830 and Belgium in 1831. Nowadays, such a collective recognition, which is also called general recognition, is possible only through a body like United Nations organization. Now, the third type of recognition, that is conditional recognition. Sometimes it may so happen that a state, when it is giving recognition to a newly born state, it may impose certain conditions. That means recognition is being accorded or is being given subject to certain conditions. That is why it is called conditional recognition. One example will make you clear. In 1878, the Berlin Congress recognized 4 states, namely Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania and Montenegro. While giving recognition to these states, Berlin Congress imposed certain conditions. The condition was these states will not impose any type of religious disability on their subjects. Now, the fourth type of recognition, that is de facto or de jure recognition. This is very interesting. De facto recognition, de facto you can understand by the fact, and de jure you can understand by law or legally. Now, de facto recognition is provisional or it is temporary, and de facto recognition once given can be withdrawn as well. So, de facto recognition, when it is given with certain conditions, it has to be looked into whether the newly born state is capable of fulfilling all the international obligations or conditions or not. If it is capable of fulfilling all the international obligations, then it is okay. This de facto recognition will culminate into de jure recognition. But if the newly born state fails to fulfill its international responsibilities or obligations, then the de facto or the temporary or the provisional recognition accorded to it can be withdrawn by the recognizing state. There are certain observations. First, it was observed by Lauter Pact that de facto recognition is the expression of desire of a state to enter into relations with the regime in power, but for the time being without the usual diplomatic courtesies. The usual diplomatic relations will not be established. Second observation was given by Professor G. Schwarzenberger. He said that when a state wants to delay the de jure recognition of any state, it may in the first stage grant de facto recognition. So, de facto recognition is provisional, it is temporary, it is subject to certain conditions, and it is liable to be withdrawn if the newly born state fails to fulfill all these international obligations. Now comes de jure recognition. De jure you can understand, de jure means by law or legally. Now, de jure recognition is permanent, and once it is given, it cannot be withdrawn normally. Professor H. A. Smith says that the British practice shows that before giving de jure recognition to a newly born state, what is basically considered? Three things are considered before giving permanent recognition or de jure recognition to a newly born state. British practice shows, according to Professor H. A. Smith, that there are three conditions precedent. Number one, a reasonable assurance as to stability and permanence. Number two, the political community should command the general support of the people. And thirdly, the political community should be willing and able to fulfill its international obligations. These are the three conditions which are considered before giving de jure recognition. This is the British practice. Hans Kelsen said that de jure recognition is permanent in character, it is final, and once it is given, it cannot be withdrawn. So, in this session, up to this, there are certain other points which we will discuss in our coming session. That session will cover three important points. Number one, the theories of recognition. Number two, the methods of giving recognition, and number three, the legal effects of recognition. That we will discuss in our next session. Thank you up to this for now.